The NISRA Data Portal is the new dissemination system for NISRA data. Users are now able to view and filter datasets, run metadata searches, plot interactive charts and visualize data using interactive maps, and create favorite tables and save queries. Users will also be able to share the results and access tables in multiple formats, and for the first time will be able to read NISRA data using API query. The following is a brief overview of the key features. This is the home page. On the left-hand side of the page, there is a Browse tab which lists the themes and sub-themes where the data can be found. There is also a search function that appears at the top of every page for when you know the title, code, or contents of your table. The last updated tables are in the main body of the page and when they were last updated. And you can choose the date from which to display these tables by using the date box at the top right. The API for these tables sits just below. Quick links are also available below the Browse option, linking to the training materials and FAQs for the data portal, Census 2021 Flexible Table Builder, the NISRA website, and the NISRA visualizations. These links will be accessible on each page as you move through the application. On the top right, there is an option to create an account and log into the system. While the data and most of the functions can be accessed directly from the home page without the need to create an account, some extra functions are available when you log in, and these will be discussed later. To begin your search, you can use the Browse feature and search for the table you need. Selecting a theme will open a list of sub-themes, and within each is a list of specific topics. For example, if I open the theme Health and Social Care in the Browse menu and choose the sub-theme Health Inequalities, the following list of topics will be displayed. The blue box to the right denotes the number of tables associated with that topic, and this number will update as tables are added to the system. For example, there are currently 12 tables available within hospital activity, and when I click on the link, all these tables will be displayed. The variables contained within each table can be clearly seen below the title, while the unique code sits just above. Icons beside the code provide such information as to the type of statistics or whether a map is available in this particular table. Alternatively, you can use the search bar to find a particular table if you know the name or code, but also to find the contents of a table. For example, if I'm interested in the number of children who are obese, I could type obese into the search box, and in this case, 2 tables are returned because these are currently the only tables with the term obese features. On the left-hand side, you can also narrow your search according to your particular area of interest. I am going to open the table Childhood BMI that includes local government district. Once in a table, you can customize the data to suit your needs, and you can also plot different charts or generate an interactive map if one is available. The size of the dataset is indicated by the number of cells shown at the bottom right, and on the left-hand side, you can see that there are a number of other options. For example, there is an option to copy and share the link to the table through a number of media such as X, WhatsApp, and Facebook. You will also find any notes ascribed to the table or a link to them. If you wish to download the full unpivoted dataset, you can do so in a number of formats, including CSV, JSON, STAT, PX, or Excel. And the contact details for a responsible statistician or branch are also available here. If you don't need the full dataset, you can filter the data to choose what you want to see. I would like to look at the proportion of P1 children who are obese by local government district and gender in the most recent academic years. So first I choose the relevant statistic, which in this case is the first one, and it will then become highlighted. From the next box, choose the required time period. I wish to look at the most recent results, so I'll highlight 2017-18 to 2019-20. In the local government district box, I want to look at all districts including Northern Ireland, so I highlight everything. I want to compare males and females, so highlight both of those. Note that if there's more than one option in a variable box and you do not highlight anything, then all of the categories within that variable will be selected by default. If you wish to select all options, you can use your mouse to click and scroll like I did, or you can select by using the tick box here. The data cells selected will give an indication of the cell count for your current choice. So here it is 24 out of a possible 1152. Note that this may be important when considering the size of your output. Your data can now be viewed using the View button at the bottom of the page. Since I was interested in looking at obesity in males compared to females, I can change the format of the table using the pivot option above to pivot by gender. Now you can see that it's much easier to compare the results. If you prefer, you can also download your selection in a number of different formats by using the download function here. Both pivoted and unpivoted results will be available in your Excel output where relevant. The selection you've made can also be read by API, or if you want to publish it to your own website or dashboard, you can use the widget function. The snippet code in the widget can also be embedded into your blog, website, or dashboard by copying to clipboard and pasting. Selecting Download here creates an HTML of your selection, which can be saved to your desktop and will automatically update if new data is added to the table. Just make sure the Auto Update option above has been set to true. This is what the HTML output looks like, and you can see that it also contains a link back to the original table. If I now close this and go back into the table, you can see that there is also a chart function to chart the data. And as you can see, a range of chart types is available. I'm going to build a column chart showing the proportion of P1 children who are obese across the different local government districts in Northern Ireland. So use the chart type option to choose column chart. This will now open the X-axis label box, and I'm going to call this local government district. If I then go to the local government district box and highlight all districts including Northern Ireland, just use the tick box, and then click on Series at the bottom left of the table, and note that the local government district box has now disappeared from the main body of the table. This now opens the Y-axis label box, and this time I'm going to call it %. I also have an option to name my series, and because we only have one here, I'm going to call it P1 Children Who Are Obese. To populate the chart with the appropriate statistics, highlight the relevant statistic, which is the first one, the relevant time period, which is the most recent time period, 2017 to 18, 2019 to 20, and for gender, I'm going to look at all persons this time. There is only one series in this particular table, so we don't need to add any more. Note that there is an options function here which can be used to change the display of the chart. The options available depend on the type of chart you're using, and each has an information icon. I'm going to set my auto scale to false so that my y-axis starts at 0. If I now run my current selection by clicking View, my column chart looks like this, and you can see the numbers by hovering your mouse over the columns. As before, you can download the chart as a PNG or by using the widget. The snippet code in the widget can also be embedded into your blog, website, or dashboard as before. For some tables, a map may also be available, and this will allow you to visualize and compare statistics across the different geographical areas relevant to your table. You can change what is shown by using the options to the left of the map. And while the current map shows the proportion of P1 children who are obese, you can choose from all statistics available in the original table using the drop-down menu. In the same way, you can also change the time period using the drop-down menu if you wish. And here I have chosen all persons, but you can change the map to look at the pattern for males or females. You can also highlight the numbers by hovering your mouse over a particular area on the map. Again, you can use the snippet code in the widget and embed it into your blog, website, or dashboard in the same way as for tables and charts. As mentioned earlier, there is a login function in the system which, when utilised, will give access to 2 extra features. You can log in using any of these methods, except the management login, which is for NISRA staff only. You can create an account using your email address, use the sign up option, and you will be asked to create a password. You will then receive an email to verify your account. Once completed, you will be free to sign into the system. You can manage your account and delete it at any stage if you wish. You can also sign in using your existing Google, Facebook, or X account. I'm going to log in. Once you log in, you can now see that the 2 extra functions are enabled. The Favorite Tables box sits just below the quick links on the left of each page, while the Save Queries option appears on the top banner beside data. The Favorite Tables option allows you to save tables to a favorites list, making them much easier to find at a later stage. So if I go back to the table option here and go into the table I was working in earlier, I can use the Add to Favorites option over to the right. As you can see, once activated, the same button can also be used to remove the table from your favorites. If I go to the favorite tables on the left, my table is here, where it can be easily accessed the next time I need it. The Save Queries option allows you to save selected output from tables, charts, or maps, which can be reopened and easily rerun without having to rebuild your selection. To do this, simply highlight the information you're interested in. So I'll use my earlier selection, and I must choose the View option to run the results and activate the Save Query option. You can now save your query using the Save Query button, and you will be prompted to give your query a name. For example, P1 Obesity. You will also be given the option to save with fixed or fluid time. Fluid time allows you to maintain the same time pattern when new time points get published on the portal. For example, you could display the last 5 time points even if new ones are added to the data, and this is particularly useful for trend data. So save my query, and if I go to the Save Queries box and open, here you can also download the associated CSV file or print the output. And at the bottom you can see that there is also a widget function for embedding in your blog, website or dashboard. The Save Queries option can also be used for charts and maps. This has been a brief introduction to the new data portal. There is a manual with added detail and examples, as well as a set of FAQs to accompany this video. If you have any queries, please contact us via the email below. Thank you for your time and interest in the NISRA data portal.